Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Delvin from Delvin Technologies, and I've got co-hosting with me today out from the West, Angus. Thank you for
Hey
joining
everyone.
us. And today's topic is what's new in SOLIDWORKS Electrical, the top 2018 features that we decided to pick up as a team. So I'm going to quickly get into who we are and what we do. So Javin Technologies has been around for the last 20 years, and we have offices from coast to coast. And as you can see today, Angus and myself are presenting from two different offices. What this means for you is there's nationwide support, 100 plus employees, and thousands of certifications. And we've got different experience types to kind of handle end to end of your process and technology requirements. Now, we have solutions for every stage of your product life cycle. We usually focus on or help you focus on the people that take the ideas and concepts into technology and eventually make sure that it is a tight integrated process and push that towards manufacturing. Just to kind of recap for some of our new attendees in here, SolidWorks does have a lot of electrical solutions. What does that look like from a higher level? We've got PCB design solutions where we have SolidWorks PCB in-house. That is a partnership with Altium, so you know it is a robust product. And if you do have Altium, we have the connector available. So the connector essentially allows for both using the Altium product with SolidWorks. And on the other hand, we have SolidWorks Electrical Schematic and SolidWorks Electrical 3D, which we're going to be discussing the top 2018 features for today. And last but not least, some of the default products that come in with SolidWorks are CircuitWorks and the electrical routing. Needless to say, those last two products don't usually capture the schematic solution, but they are available within the mechanical CAD environment. With that, I'll let Angus take on from here.
Hey everyone. So when we're dealing with schematics, there are a couple of different stages we have to go through. The first one is we have to draw it. And this is often our design phase. This includes picking which components we're going to be putting in. Maybe we're doing that from a supplier's catalog. It's doing things like saying, where are we going to put these? Is one of them going to be in this building? Is one of them going to be somewhere else? Then we have to get into our documentation. This is where we make that information useful to others. So this can be our bill of materials, our to from list, our cable list, and as you can imagine, there can be a lot of information for us to be filling out, for us to be extracting manually. So this can take a while. The last phase, which is often the ongoing phase, is where we have to audit. And this is anytime we make a design change, so it comes back into that section. We have to go through our drawings, we have to go through all of our bills of materials and our reports, and we have to verify that it's all still valid. SolidWorks Electrical makes the drawing phase much easier and much faster. We'll look at that. But what's great is that it automates the last two, the documentation and the auditing steps. This really cuts down on the numbers of errors in your design data, which gives you the confidence in what you're putting out. But it can also make this happen way faster so you can get your designs out the door and to market as quickly as possible. So we have a quick little summary here for you of SolidWorks Electrical for those of you who haven't seen it before. With Electrical, we can quickly do multi-line diagrams using predefined styles so that we can guarantee that standardization. We can utilize the full power of the SQL database to bring in symbols and then immediately relate them back to manufacturers' parts that are in our library. What's great about this is it means that information such as our annotations, which can include things like the manufacturer's name or the power rate for this motor, that all comes in with that manufacturer component and it's added to the symbol. We can do this the other way though. We can go from a manufacturer's part and then pick the symbol that is associated to that in our library so that we don't have to go searching for symbols. As we bring them in, it automatically heals the wires and inserts it so that we don't have to do any redrawing. What we're going to see here is that with terminal strips, we have a little bit more control as well. We can go into this great editor, see exactly what's going on. We can still relate it back to an actual manufacturer's physical part. But once we've done this, once we put this information in, it automatically generates the drawing for us. That makes it really quickly for us to add our terminal strips. We've added this data. Why do it again? We need it twice, just copy and paste. It's as easy as that with SOLIDWORKS Electrical. And then we can start adding locations. This allows us to better create that digital replica of our physical system. This also comes in with things like our cabling. We can add cables from manufacturers' components as well, and then relate the actual graphical data in our project back to the individual cores. This really helps us keep our digital data on track with what's happening in our physical system. We've now updated that terminal strip diagram that we had, and you can see it includes all of that new information we just brought in automatically. We can also do this with single line diagrams. Again, we can utilize the full power of those electrical styles, which let us predefine things like a diameter, things like a wire type. But from there, we can utilize macros. These are fantastic. This is like copy and paste between projects, but you can do it for anyone at your company. When you bring this in, you have the option of associating it to an existing part, creating new components within your project, whatever you need. They're very powerful. We can replace wire styles at any given time as well, doing things like propagating to the equipotential to make it easy. We can also move these around. Often our schematics will span multiple pages. In these situations, it's helpful to use off-page references to make it easier to read what's going on. These off-page references behave as a hyperlink, so that just by double-clicking on them, it will take us to the other side, making it easier for us to navigate. But what's great is we can only insert them if the wires match, because the wires have to be the same wire. And in that situation, it does a little bit of quality control for us, and it's just SOLIDWORKS Electrical helping us create better designs. As far as 2D panel layouts, we can again have those symbols be referenced to the manufacturer component and just bring them in automatically. We can also add dimensions very easily. But let's talk about 3D. This is a big area for people. And so with 3D, it's easy for us to see directly from the schematic side which components we need, and then which ones we've already inserted into our mechanical assembly. From there, it's as easy as just clicking on the rail we would like to add things to and bringing it in. We can also associate the existing parts to the electrical components. Routing gives us a huge range of functionality. We can do it here with colored sketches, which make it easy, or we can also do this with things like cables. We can select the components we want to route, we can segregate them to specific areas, and we can also fully define which route we would like it to take. This lets us get our wires moving in exactly the way we would like them to. And in this case, we've created a 3D photorealistic route of it, which we can put into a rendering. All of that information is moved back into SOLIDWORKS Electrical, where we can use the full power of its reporting capabilities. We can export things such as our bill of materials, our list of cables with those exact lengths that we've added in, or even a list of tags, which lets us take every mark that we've got in our electrical project and print that out so that we can stick it on the physical system, making it easier for us to go through and navigate once this is all in real life. Once we have all of these great reports, it's time to export them. And with this, we can also do very easily. We can put this into a PDF with just a couple of clicks. But this PDF is going to be smart. It's going to have hyperlinks for all of our components, all of those off-page references, so we can jump around as easily as we need to. And you can see it also has a full component and document tree built in. This means that if someone is going on site to look at the system, you can just give them that PDF, and they don't even need SOLIDWORKS with them that day.
Some of the benefits to just using a schematic package like this usually involve customers having tighter integrations with other systems, be it just controls and automation, hydraulic, pneumatic, cables, harnesses, PNID. Now, as we kind of progress through this system, one of the benefits usually is that changes are tracked right through and through the entire project. So what does this mean for you as a designer? You make one change for one particular component, but there is information across the project that needs to be updated. For one contact and relay arrangement, you're looking at about up to 48 audits, and that is time intense. That's just for one component. Imagine as you scale this across the entire project, you've got more information to deal with.
That's a lot of burden.
Now,
They can make you hesitant to make a design change. SolidWorks Electrical makes that easy.
definitely. So just before we jump into this and take a next look at what 2018 has to offer, is we're going to throw out a poll question in there to ensure that this is interactive. It's not just one way. Also, there was a question that came up regarding if this is just an audio session. No, it's not an audio session. It's definitely a live session. You should be seeing our screen. Angus.
So we're going to discuss today what some of the great new features in 2018 are. We're going to have a bit of a Q&A session for me and Delvin. Delvin is our product manager. He is the SolidWorks electrical guru in Javelin. So I'm going to be asking him what he thinks about these. So Delvin, we've got the new classification manager. How will these new options that we have work for the classes? Will we be modifying our existing classes to suit our needs, or are we going to be able to build entirely new ones that we need?
So right out of the box, I'm going to state that existing classes will always remain. That is software intent. But there are instances where maybe a customer needs a class for something like a manifold that needs to be put in within the list of parts. That's when you go ahead and create a new class to handle that list of part numbers and components and symbols and such.
Okay, so it's just another layer of customization that we're now going to have. And as far as those classes, what kind of manufacturer data would we be able to enter?
So traditionally, each of these manufacturing parts or each of the components, the library items, the classification units that are there, are allowed to have up to 7 data fields. So there are 7 data fields that you can add for each of these classes, and these are customizable to handle your information. So manufacturing information.
And will the classes be behaving any differently, or will they be just like those great built-in classes we already have?
They should be identical to the built-in classes.
Perfect. That sounds great. And then, so moving on to the next thing that we have here, our terminal strips and our multi-level terminals. Can you tell us what has changed in 2018? How is this different from what we had before?
So typically, we have a lot of customers asking us questions about how to handle multi-level terminals, how to level the marking or the device tagging convention for it. So these updates will make things a little bit easier. You now have options to use the marks available to have both the terminal and the level mark information within the tag, or you can simply just strip it away and use the level marks. But the application will keep track of the intelligence behind, so it knows which strip this information or which terminal this information is relating to. But for your guys in the field, they know what they're looking at on their drawing scheme.
Cool. That sounds pretty helpful as well.
Another thing I do want to point out, though, is in 2017, we did have a lot of customers, actually not 2017, even the previous years, we've had customers ask us questions with regards to how can certain accessories be added to manufacturing or terminal part. And so things like end caps or spacers and such can now be added within those terminal strips that the application plans for us.
Okay, that's some good new functionality for us. These drawing styles, I know this is something that was heavily requested. So what are the options that we are going to have available to us now in 2018?
So the good thing about drawing styles is most of our customers come out of a CAD platform, which probably has intelligence missing in it. So what people like to see is, as you use an intelligence system, you want to also be able to manage it and configure it at both a project level or a global or a level. So with that, the drawing styles are now you as a user have the option of actually managing it at both application level or a project level. So you can you can port over things like layers, line types, text styles, um, both from version to version or project to project. But this can be managed and configured for CAD admins.
Great. And could we have done all this before, or is it a new feature for us?
No, it is a new feature. It wasn't available within 2017 or any of the previous versions. There were ways to get it done, but obviously I think it's quite a time saver to make life a lot more easier from a management perspective.
Yeah, it sounds like a good way to ensure standardization. If people don't want to set that up, can they turn to Javelin for help? Would we be able to help get them on track?
Yes, we do have, we definitely have quite a lot of people in support who can handle the basic questions like this. If you're looking for something more tighter, more customized with your systems, be it ERP or any other information you're trying to pass back and forth, we do have the expertise and services available to assist with that.
Great. Yeah, definitely reach out to us. We would love to help. And so moving on to the attribute management, can you walk us through an example that you think would have benefited from this?
So in the past, I've had a lot of customers ask us, hey, we've got our own attributes already mapped within maybe an ERP or a purchasing system. And it can be quite a tedious cycle for an existing platform or a larger platform to change attributes or tags and such. So with this new addition in 2018, we are now able to make changes or actually introduce attributes either at symbol level, title block level, and project level, such that it can share information with other systems.
Very cool. And will we be able to transfer this information between projects the way that we do with a lot of other features and information in SOLIDWORKS Electrical?
Yes, you can.
Great. And so this natural sort, I've heard of rolling a natural 20 or scoring a natural hat trick. Tell me about the natural sort.
So natural sort is a really intuitive tool. So what happens is, I like that it's introduced. It's a feature most of our customers have been waiting for a while. So I'll give you an example or a scenario in which you do something like this. You've already done your designs, you've pushed something to production, and the guys on the shop floor have now made some changes. It comes back to you. You have to manually make changes to a tag, to a specific tag or a mark within this particular component tree. But the application treats manual tags independently compared to automated tags. So if you were to go in and make any changes, or you wanted to figure out what's going on in your reports and such, it would treat them completely independent. With the natural sort option in 2018, the system now is able to recognize a group of tags. So if you're going to look at this image on the right-hand side for zip tie 10 through 14, zip tie 11 was a manual tag. So in my reporting and stuff, it does count it as a sequence of tags versus 3 automated tags and 1 manual tag. The system keeps track of that, but it will give you quality information based off of it.
So it just gives us a bit tighter integration between those manual and automatic tags now in 2018.
Definitely.
Very good. And how do the unused marks, how has that changed in 2018?
So to simply put it, and give an example, I have an image on the left-hand side I'm just drawing in a new wire and I'm about to go and update my wire marks. Now, my wire marks, by rule of thumb, up to 2017, always incremented the next available highest number. So in this case, it would have been 9. But with the unused marks option, what happens is it's going to look at the next available number after counting all the way back from 0. So in this case, now that I'm drawing a new wire on that section between my two components, it should place in mark 6 instead of 9.
So this means that we aren't going to have gaps between 15 and 37 like we may have in the past.
Yes, no unused marks.
That's great. And so with the wire management, What is the change in workflow that we have now in 2018?
So that's a really good question. So most of our customers tend to have specific requirements in how they present their documentation. So in 2018, now at the configuration or the management level of how wires are used, you can specifically ahead of at the project level are able to decide what type of tags are going to be placed on the wires, whether it's going to be a wire mark or a wire label, and you can do this ahead at the project level. You don't have to go in individually at each wire. Unfortunately, in the past, it did take a while if you were going to do them wire by wire, selecting a bunch of wires. So this definitely has optimized it, reduces the number of clicks you need to go through to get the same results.
So a nice bit of time savings there.
Definitely.
And it sounds like we have some new options as well for controlling how our wires are numbered. What is new in 2018 for that?
So, as most of our customers know, and for the benefit of some of our new attendees today, you can sort your connections by groups. The groups could be electrical, hydraulic, pneumatic. It doesn't matter. You can create the group. But when you're tagging these connections or marks, you have originally only had the option of doing it by project. Now you can do location, book, and also a file type. So you can make sure the marks are unique by any of those indicators.
Good. Nice new level of customizing that and keeping things organized.
Yes, sir.
User interface. When we talk to people about SOLIDWORKS Mechanical, it's always a big hit. It's a big hit with electrical as well. What are some of these new options we have? I know that a lot of our customers have custom symbols. So when they're doing editing for these, what options do they have available to them?
So the edit symbol usually goes directly at the database level. So you're inside the graphical representation of your system, your little symbol over there. But what happens is as you're placing these attributes, maybe you want to change the index of these attributes as they're counting up or counting down. We do have these three buttons over there: modify index, modify TX data index, and modify language code. So you are able to now make changes to those indexes for those attributes that are there within the symbol, within the edit mode.
Cool. And so if someone is having trouble getting their symbols or their title block set up, or it's just a lot of work that they don't want to do, is there anything Javelin can do to help?
Yes, we actually have a team of people who can help with that, both on support channel side of things, and if just for some instance you have a lot of legacy data or you're trying to figure out how to bring in this information into your system, we can help make sure that it's the quickest process for you, and also while you're doing that, you're bringing in better standards and you're adding intelligence to your designs. So there is a library service and that kind of information available.
Great. And this new option to defer an update, where we can kind of hold off on updating SOLIDWORKS Electrical, what's going on in our changes, why would we need this? Why is this a useful feature for us?
So more often than not, most people using a design tool for either electrical or just even mechanical tend to be people who sometimes have to travel. And because it's a database application, you realize that the application is always live syncing and updating information to the database. With this option, even if you're in a spotty location with really bad internet connection, you can ensure that you can defer the updates till you have a better connection, so that there is no, you don't experience any difficulties as you're trying to update the information seamlessly over a network.
Very useful.
One thing I did forget to mention was the title blocks. With the title blocks, we now have the options of actually going into your system and say you need to replace multiple pages worth of title blocks together. Just like symbols, you can do a group replacement of title blocks in case you've updated your title block or any of that related processes.
Okay. And there's been some changes to the DWG importing in 2018. Do you want to just quickly let us know what's changed there?
Oh, definitely. So one thing that a lot of our customers definitely go in and work around is using their legacy information, but more often than not, because of bad practices within the DWG environment, uh, scaling might be off, connection information might be off. So when you bring in this non-intelligent line, text, and circle within an intelligent system, you may end up having actual offsets or information breaking. So with this new import addition to the screen for the DWGs, we're now able to actually take this and ensure that any T connections or any connections where multiple wires are connecting at a point will merge together with this setting.
Good. Okay. It's a good new option for us. Routing?
Well, one thing I'm going to let you run on this one. I know that since you dabble around in the mechanical a lot more than I do, I know you've seen something different in the routing integration. What did you find so different in 2018?
Well, in 2017, the wizard was great. The electrical component wizard walked us through exactly how we needed to do everything, but it was only for electrical. So now in 2018, yes, we have to learn a new system, but it's great. So we have this great new menu, and it harmonizes the electrical routing with the mechanical routing. So they're actually working together. They're no longer separated, and this goes all the way behind the scenes as well. So we have some great new improvements that bring the electrical and mechanical routing together.
Perfect. So it makes it almost intuitive, you'd say.
100%, yeah. Only having one place that you have to go makes it really easy and very intuitive, especially if someone's coming from one system and moving over to the other. Yeah, and so with PDM, how did it work in 2017? And what's new this year?
So on the left-hand side, that's what we had in 2017. That was the only option available to us. We could connect, and this information would allow us to bring in all the reports and exports and PDFs directly to your PDM system, primarily SOLIDWORKS PDM. In 2018, as of the start of this year, we do have an MCAD style connector, and it follows the same workflow as and processes as your normal PDM would. And the great thing is that with that, it makes integration of both tools even more desirable at a configuration level.
I know this is something I've heard a lot of requests for, and it's great to see it happening here. And so we just have a couple questions, or I have a couple questions for you, Delvin, about how it's different. So how does it work with the 2D and the 3D components? Is it working with everything right now? Are certain things a down the road kind of addition?
Okay, so at the moment, PDM works really well with 3D. What they just did is they got it to work really well with 2D schematics, just as though it worked with 3D. Do we have the complete integration and compatibility of electrical 3D yet with PDM? No. Development is on its way over there too.
But that will be coming down the line, or at least they're telling us.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's great. I know a lot of people will probably want to switch, but when they want to do this, is there any way they can test out if it's going to work for them, and if they're willing to change their entire workflow around for this?
See, for something like this, I would recommend getting in touch with us, and we can help you set up with the installation files, and we'll even talk about how it integrates with your system and makes your life a little bit easier.
Okay, and as people switch over, what is the support process going to be like for the SOLIDWORKS electrical integration into SOLIDWORKS PDM?
So just like any SOLIDWORKS product, once a ticket's submitted, it goes into to see if there is a work solution available, or it will go into an enhancement request situation, and major changes will be done at major version releases, and bug fixes will be done through regular service packs. We have about 6 service pack updates through the year, which is constant, and it's really good because SOLIDWORKS always listens to its design community.
Very good, yeah. No, so definitely anything that needs to be fixed, people should get in touch with us about, it sounds like. And as far as the language support, it's great that SOLIDWORKS Electrical has support for so many languages. How does that work now that we're bringing it into PDM?
So language support at the moment is just for one language. Traditionally, they have up to 14 languages supported, so I believe it will progress towards that.
Great. It's nice to have that multilingual opportunity there.
Yes.
And if someone would like more documentation about SOLIDWORKS Electrical and its integration, where would they be able to find it?
They will find this. They will find this information on installation. There's an administration guide, a help file, which sort of gives you more information for a deeper dive.
And those existing tools that you mentioned, the previous connector, is this just right off the bat? Is it making that obsolete, or is the plan to keep both of them active?
At the moment, the plan is to keep both of them active. Development is working pretty much constantly, service pack at a time. So it will be, the legacy connector will be retired towards the end of the life cycle when the product is completely integrated in the next major release.
Okay. It sounds like a good future for the PDM integration, and it's great to have it now.
Yeah. So with that, we're towards the end of our discussion. So a couple of things that we can definitely help you with is process optimization for electrical solutions, whether it's PCB, whether it's just mechanical to electrical, for trying to figure out those, or how to simply reduce the number of clicks you take to start your project to the end of project, or even very basic things like just library and how to set those things up. We do have a very robust team that is able to support this tool and the other tools available in the electrical solution suite. We can also talk about reviewing some of your design and manufacturing processes. And at the end of it, we can suggest areas for improvement. We also have a lot of experience kind of dealing with real and measurable action plans. So we can help you discuss ROI and other training solutions for your particular. I'm going to pause the call and we're going to open up the question floor over here.
Yeah, so Delvin, it looks like we've been getting a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
So one of them we have here is, can we get a list of manufacturers that we have libraries for? So do you want to maybe talk about that, or the online content portal even?
Definitely. So there is an online content portal available for SOLIDWORKS Electrical. It has upwards of 110 million parts over there. So it has most of the electrical automation controls and that kind of information, footprints and so on. It's just a matter of what are you looking for, and we can definitely take our pick and give you some better answers catered to your requirements. So yes, 110 million parts and more.
All right. And if people have questions about specific parts, can they get in touch with us and we can talk about it more? Sounds like a good
Yes,
deal.
we can. We definitely can. We have services available to kind of help you with more specific information.
Perfect. And as far as bringing files over from AutoCAD Electrical to SOLIDWORKS,
yeah,
is that an option for us?
Yes, you can bring in information from AutoCAD Electrical. There is an import tool available. It really depends on how much intelligence has already been set up in the AutoCAD Electrical. Anything that's line text and circles will be treated as line text and circles. So intelligence can be brought over, graphical information can be brought over. It's just a matter of mapping what's going to work for us. And there's already an import tool available with the application.
Perfect.
So there's a roadmap question over there. Sorry, can you see the question, Angus? I do not see it on my screen.
Yeah, I've got it here. Tom is interested if there's a roadmap for harness support. So examples he's got here are splices or overriding wire length, both in 2D and 3D.
Great question over there, Tom. So yes, there is 2018 for development. The main focus on the 3D side is routing. So they are heavily interested in it. They've got all of their, they've got all the balls, they've got everything set up and development is currently focusing on it. So do expect to see updates coming up within the next year.
Tom's got another roadmap question here, and it sounds like he might be a SOLIDWORKS mechanical user as well.
Yes.
Talking about, is there going to be a command search coming in?
No, at the moment there isn't, and most likely we can go in and create one of those as an enhancement request so that something shows up just as similar for electrical as we have for mechanical.
Okay, great. So we've got a couple of other questions. I think we can follow up with people after the fact. We have their information.
Okay.
But thank you very much for attending, everybody.